We're here at the Austrian Grand Prix at Spielberg Red Bull Ring in Austria. It's a great one seeing two F2 drivers driving the FP1 session. We had Beganovic and Dion, the Irish, driving the Ferrari and the McLaren. But it's funny, the number of teams that brought upgrades. Ferrari brought upgrades, like I said, some beats. They're bringing the rear in Silverstone, and for Red Bull also bringing upgrades. McLaren brought upgrades. You can see the Red Bull are really matching up. Sauber brought upgrades. Everybody's trying to gain. Performance-wise, I think we can see that the McLaren are dropped. And McLaren dropping also affected Red Bull, because Red Bull 2 dropped. I think this front wing really shown us that there is a drop. But should we say it is an upgrade thing or the front wing issue? I think the last upgrade McLaren brought, Norris will be running this weekend, while Oscar Piastri saying no, he's going back to the old one because he thinks he prefers the old front end. Norris preferred the new front end. And Red Bull, we can see a relatively, Max Verstappen gives more feedback, more information than the upgrades to come out to him. So that's still struggling. Ultra FP1, brake balance, everything is not working for him. He's struggling with the car. But for Ferrari, they almost had a double whammy in the FP1 with Beganovic driving Charles Leclerc's car, and the floor, everything just went away from him. He could not do anything. He even ended the session last, while Lewis Hamilton carrying some front aero rakes. At the end of the day, he could not gain some time. He was in the pit lane, changed setup, everything came out, but the GR had issues. They were able to reset. Hope it is a resetting, because Ferrari had been the only team that finished races. Not that one driver is out, this is there, but the only team that the two drivers have finished up. We expect them to keep it up, but funny enough, this GR issue, Lewis Hamilton had, hope is resolved. He was able to come out on soft tires and do a very good lap at the end of the practice, but I think they still have a lot of learning, a lot of tuning to do on the car to see how they can match up the floor, because if they don't get that, then it means the floor they brought is a waste. So they could have waited till next week to bring the floor and the rear, but this is not looking good for Ferrari. And we hope in FP2 we can see a more competitive car, a more competitive Ferrari, and how they really progress during this Austrian Grand Prix, because the whole circuit is very, very fast circuit, small circuit, 3 DRS point. You don't have much. In less than 1 minute 6 seconds, all drivers are out. They completed it. So it's not really a very long circuit. Yeah, pretty 4 point something, but very fast because it has only 10 corners. So let's see how the weekend progress for them. FP2 will look at it, what Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull have brought, and see how it works for them. But the Haas still looks on the back foot. The Haas are on the back foot. Sauber looks like a team that is picking up some good pace. But Toledo is doing a great job, and Nico Hülkenberg. Also, the Williams, they're always there in the top 8, doing greater jobs. We hope they are able to transform the qualifying, unlike in Canada, because in Canada, they did well during the practices. Coming to the qualifying, they were just nowhere to be found. So we hope that changes as this weekend progresses. Also, we had the Racing Bulls doing a pretty good job. You can see that they're competitive. Isaac Kaja leading the charge, but Yuki Tsunoda for the Red Bull, not there at all. And we hope that he's able to turn the weekend around, but it's going to be a very big one for them. Let's see how it goes in the FP2. Yeah, the FP2 was like verse 2. We had Lando Norris coming back into the free practice 2 after he missed the free practice 1. We also have Charles Leclerc coming into free practice 2 after Beganovic substituted in free practice 1. It was an all F1 affair in free practice 2. Charles Leclerc was able to quickly get up and running in free practice 2, while Lewis Hamilton still struggled. And I still believe the communication between Lewis Hamilton and his race engineer Ricardo Adami needs to be sorted out as soon as possible, because they are still missing a lot of things in talks. There was a point in which Lewis Hamilton was impeding Kimi Antonelli, and he said he didn't see Kimi Antonelli, in which I think and I believe the team was meant to tell him that needs to be sorted out, because this mismarriage might end up jeopardizing a lot of things for Ferrari. They need to sort that out, because it's becoming unbecoming, But Lando Norris jumped into the car also and got some beautiful pace out of it. They brought upgrades. All the top 4 teams brought upgrades. Even Mercedes bringing a cooling system upgrade. The coke engine cover is being changed at the back, so the car looks different. But FP2, Lando Norris king it all. He was able to create some daylight distance between himself, his teammates, and also the rest of the grid. His teammate did a pretty decent job and was able to be in P2, but the rest of the grid were about 4 tenths away from Lando Norris. We don't know their fuel run. We know most times the Red Bull run high fuel runs, especially in the FP2. They do a lot of high fuel runs, so you don't really see their performance. But coming into FP3 tomorrow, you see what they really want to do. And I think Lewis Hamilton got a little bit upset during the FP2 that he had to just do a lot of long runs. And we can see the long runs on Ferrari is not looking good at all. Long run on Mercedes, McLaren, pretty decent. It's quite great, quite good. But on Ferrari, it's not really looking decent. We saw that the Williams also took a little step backward, but they still look fast. The Racing Bull looks fast, like I said earlier. But we saw the Sauber brought in some upgrades, but I'm not sure where the Saubers are, because the Sauber themselves are not sure where they are, because they still look a little bit off. The ass looks off. It's going to be a very long season for Sauber and Haas, though they have Ferrari engine. Even Ferrari itself is struggling. I think Pierre Gasly is doing a pretty decent job. Colapinto, it looks like is the only way out for Alpine now, because Flavio Briatore believes Colapinto is the future. Juan, he believes his father just has money. He cannot deliver for them. That's what I think he believes. So they are really looking on investing on Colapinto. But looking into how the progression of the year will be, most of these teams be putting their resources into next year, looking at what has happened or what is happening. And next year there will be a new development, a new car. But I still believe what they are able to take with this car into next year will matter, because I'm not sure the ground effect is changing anytime soon. These teams should look at probably how would they be able to take some learnings into next year, because the cars are going to get smaller in width and in length, but the working of the car might not really change. There are no DRS. It is being replaced with new technologies at the front and at the rear. The front wings will open, the rear wings will open. It's going to be crazy to know where the technology stops, where they can stop or press the button to say, oh, stop, we are moving into next year, because they don't want to waste too much money going into next year on the car this year when you are not assured of winning any championship. And that goes to Ferrari, because Ferrari are really on the back foot. Williams, Aston Martin, I think Lance Stroll is doing a good job presently. I think he's gotten his head back. Pretty good performance, pretty decent performance in FP1 and FP2. Alonso is not really matching him, and we know Lance Stroll is a very good driver. He was really beating them, Max Verstappen, in F2. He was doing a pretty decent job. It's not just that he's the son of a millionaire or a billionaire. No, he's doing a decent job, but he's not really having a car that will sustain him, or a car that will give him what he really wants or the performance he deserves. He's been on podiums, but he's not been consistent, because I believe it's a car issue for him. But if he gets a good car, he might really perform. So FP3 tomorrow, we'll see a lot of qualifying simulations, and we'll know where these teams are, because it's going to be very close. But who takes pole position? McLaren looks like they are chief already. They are in the pole position setting, and who will be around them? Will it be the Mercedes, or will it be the Red Bull of Max Verstappen? Up until tomorrow, I give you a full lowdown on the qualifying. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.